In this bonus episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about getting all the vibes from the beyond, having the ambition to be killed off in a book, trying to stumble on great fresh bodies, being queen and apologists, and identifying haunted closets in our chat about Cursed Cruise with Rebekah Faubion, aka Faith McClaren. Hey everybody, welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult, and sometimes other books, series, authors, voice actors, and illustrators that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire, and today we're very excited to be talking to Rebekah Faubion, aka Faith McClaren, co-author of Cursed Cruise.
Enjoy!
I think I've been possessed.
Claire, is it time?
Of course it's time. It's always time. It's always time for Would You Rather.
It's always time for Would You Rather. Pew, 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 pew,
Pew,
pew,
pew,
pew,
pew,
pew,
pew,
pew,
pew,
pew,
pew,
pew. There was
Did you hear that?
There was an extra pew pew this time.
It's ghosts.
Oh
We're
no,
haunted.
we're haunted. We're haunted.
Oh, cursed. We are cursed.
I think I am cursed. We are haunted / cursed this time by Rebekah Faubion, which you might not know is also called Faith McClaren. Yay!
I am the ghost of your present.
Yes.
Yes.
So we might have mentioned it a little bit. We might have squeed about it. It's hard to say. But we're excited that you're here and that you've joined us and that you're cursing us and also haunting us.
Cursing, haunting, all the things. I'm here to bring all the vibes from the beyond.
Yes. Yes.
I want all the paranormal activity.
All the paranormal activity
So good.
is welcome.
So good. All right. So, what's our first question, Claire?
Okay, so our first question was asked on social media, so we're going to give, before we jump into our answers, we've got some comments from the listeners that often we can steal the answers from. So we asked, would you rather investigate a haunted hotel or a cursed cruise? On Facebook, it was 70% would rather do the haunted hotel. On Instagram, it was 91% who would rather do the haunted hotel. And on Threads, it was straight up 50-50. TikTok, the curse strikes again with TikTok, so we don't have any stats there.
Why does TikTok hate us so much?
Because we're
TikTok
fabulous,
hates
darling.
The algorithm of TikTok.
No, we get content warnings all the time, and it's just would you rather questions, and we can't figure out why they hate us so much.
It's so
The
weird.
last time it's because we were trying to sell unicorns and centaurs, we think.
Yes, unicorns and centaurs are real. I don't
Maybe
know.
they're like, this is fake news. Like, what?
I don't know, but it's terrible.
It's inexplicable. It's a curse.
It's
We
a
are
curse.
cursed.
Your actual curse.
Yeah.
We have an actual. It's one of
Yeah.
many actual curses that we have, right? Well, we do have comments from other places, so we'll jump into those. So Colin on Facebook said, "I'd have to go for the haunted hotel. I mean, there's a good chance of getting a fatal dose of spooking from both of them, but only one of them allows you to fall overboard and be left to the careless embrace of the endless depths. No, thank you. Do not want." Have you seen the freaky ass shit that lives in the sea? No. I'll keep my haunted ass firmly on dry land.
That's an excellent comment.
Emily on Facebook said, I would go for a haunted hotel because I spent my honeymoon in one, so I can take it. Same.
Emily, we need details.
Same.
Wow, Emily. Yeah, you need to come on the show.
Candice on Facebook said it's just classic and I feel like you'd have more ghosts at a haunted hotel.
Katrina on Facebook says, I'm scared of ghosts. Maybe the cruise, so I can get a nice holiday. I don't know, Katrina. I'm a little bit worried.
I mean, to be fair, in Cursed Cruise, it was like, within 48 hours, then they were able to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, like they got a good time at the end, for sure. But, you know, it took a minute. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know about that.
In the time it takes to get over the seasickness for the tablets to really take effect, you've broken a curse, and you can hit the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you can get over the seasickness, that's the question.
That is true. That is true. Well, Coral Reef Books reads on Instagram says, "This Would You Rather was so hard because I've always wanted to investigate the Queen Mary, but I don't want to be out in the ocean, so I will pick Hotel Stanley."
Ooh.
You know,
and they've got a place they want to go.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, to be fair, who doesn't have a list?
Queen Mary isn't in the ocean. Like, it's on, like, you know, it's bolted to the pier. So technically, it's a hotel.
Yeah.
Really.
So are you tricking the Would You Rather? Are you gonna?
I'm like, actually, it's the best of both worlds right there.
This is next level playing Would You Rather. This is how you play Would You Rather. So I golf clap you right now.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Majestic
play.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so what is your answer gonna be? Are you cheating? Are you cheating? Would you rather?
I'm cheating. I'm investigating the Queen Mary, and so I get to do both. I mean, absolutely, because I don't want to be on the ocean. So like, I am scared of the ocean just without it being haunted. Like, I love to look at it from shore, but the call of the void is way too great for me. I'm like, I feel like I would get out there and they'd be like, jump, and I'd be like, okay, like, just like, let me be one with you. So I'm gonna do, you know, I want to stay at a haunted hotel. I've stayed at many haunted hotels, so that doesn't bother me that much. I love haunted things, but haunted things that I can't get lost at sea on.
Yeah, there's no escape when you're at sea. I mean, there is an escape, but you don't want that one.
You don't want that one. We don't want that one. Yeah, we're not trying to do that. What about you guys?
Haunted hotel, hands down. I do know this. Like everybody said so far, the sea is freaking scary. I mean, you know when you see those pictures of like whales under the water, and you just see this dark shadow and this massive ocean, you're like, no. I'm noping out of there. I cannot. I can't breathe in water. That's a big deal for me.
Don't have gills.
Yeah, I don't have gills.
The ocean's just like, I don't want you here, so you shouldn't come. And I respect the ocean at a high level.
Yes, respect the ocean.
I'm worried because I am literally going on a cruise in like 3 weeks, and all of our books that we're talking about are all about the most horrible, haunted, gruesome things that can happen on a cruise ship. And it's just like, okay, Amanda, and now it's time for you to die.
You may just get murder instead of haunting.
Yeah, murder is...
Yes. So when you hear about the cruise ship coming back from Alaska and everyone on board has been murdered except for me,
you're like, I didn't do it.
It wasn't me. It was the ghosts.
That just as a premise for a story of a cruise ship goes out, and when it returns, everybody's dead except one person. Like, that is such a good premise.
That's Dracula. You're a vampire. If that happens, you're a vampire.
It's perfect. I love it. Okay, let's get to writing this one. Rebekah, you can have it. Ready, go. just like drop our names in, make us characters.
Next book.
Yeah.
Yeah, you write the book, we'll be characters, kill us off, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll then. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
The dream is one day for us to be killed off in a book.
Yes, it really is.
I mean, honestly, same. And no one's done it to me yet, so.
It's just rude.
Rude. Yeah, it's like I have so many friends that are authors. Come on, guys.
Come on.
Just kill me once.
Okay, so our next question, and that was the only one that has comments, so the rest of them are just going to be between us. Our next question is, would you rather be possessed by the Lady in White or Queen Anne?
Oh gosh. do I answer first?
Yes. Oh, you have to. You definitely
It's
have
okay.
to.
Okay. So, I feel like I'm gonna say Queen Anne, and I'm gonna say this because she is a murderer. Like I kind of feel for her. And like the idea like of like being possessed by something that is like also not actually like the soul or spirit of a human is really fascinating to me. Because the Queen Anne is a ship that took on a life form. So a life of its own. So I think I would want to be possessed by her. I mean, as long as I could get rid of her. Like, as long as I highlight Chrissy's help or the ghost gang there to help me, I would do the Queen Anne just because I think it would be fascinating to be like suddenly murderous for no reason.
Yeah.
Can I blame my murderous intent on being possessed by a sentient ship?
I mean, it seems like a classic like way to go if if you have to go on a killing spree to be like, it was the ship. It was
totally the ship the whole
Made
time.
me do it.
It'll stand up in every court in this land. It's fine.
Sure.
No judge would convict you of murder with that kind
No,
of.
they'll be like, you need to go to a special place, but like not like you're not okay.
This place has padded cells and nice comfy beds. I would go there for the naps alone.
Right?
You're
And
it's
like
nicer.
you get meals, they feed you.
Yeah, I mean you're
It's just no
know
responsibilities.
No, it's fine.
This is, I'm being sold here.
Yeah.
you're like, I'm set. Let's do it.
I know for a fact you're going to say Queen Anne,
Yeah.
Amanda, and yeah,
Of course.
any excuse to be the bad guy.
Yeah, of course. Queen Anne is my favorite character in the book, which is ridiculous because she's not real.
She's a character.
She is a character. She is.
Okay, so that was one of my favorite parts about writing this book. I mean, genuinely, like when we were like discussing, how are we gonna bring in this lore of the ship, I was like, I mean, we had this conversation, my writing partner and I was like, what if we just like wrote POVs? And she was sold. And it was really challenging, but it was like my favorite part because you're taking something that is so disturbing and making it get to tell you why.
It's really creepy as well because it's like if you think about like the guests or when the Queen Anne was a military ship, there's people wandering around the insides, and I kind of like that kind of I looked down and I was like, imagine like people wandering around. You're the murderer, and you're the sentient form with people and things.
I mean, wouldn't
It's really creepy when you think about it.
Can't you like totally just understand why she had to kill them?
I would be
Yes.
well pissed off. I'd be like, you know what,
Yeah.
you're all going overboard.
Yeah.
Also, they're up to stuff in there. They're not behaving the way one should behave on a ship, as majestic as she is.
She was
Respect
for sure.
the RMS Queen Anne. Respect.
Yeah. Yeah. That was on them. Like I kind of hate to say it, but I side with her, and this is why I would be possessed with her.
Yeah.
100%. I don't want to be possessed by the lady in white. Like, she had a crap time.
Oh, she did.
She really did.
No, don't. No, it's awful. If you're going to be possessed by something, at least be possessed by something murderous.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody who's getting to have a good time.
Right.
Like, I don't, because I mean, obviously in Curse Cruise, we see what it's like to be possessed by the lady in white, and it does not seem fun to me.
No.
So
I hate having
not
cold
fun.
feet.
How cold was Chrissy, though, the entire time? She had like 1,000
cold.
blankets, and she was still cold.
she was cold because it was coming from the inside.
Yeah.
So it's like nothing you pile on is going to
No.
fit. So cold. And I really don't like being cold. So that's another thing for me with
Right.
that. No.
Right.
I feel like the Queen Anne would run a little hot. So
Yeah, I mean, they're stoking the boilers,
yeah.
right? Are those words that are ship words?
That sounded very nautical. I'm very impressed.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Just don't get your starboard and your ports correct?
No idea.
No, I don't know. The ship language, the extent of it that I know is in the book. So
That's enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. We research what we have to research.
Right.
Next question. Would you rather have a ghost hunting YouTube channel or a ghost hunting TV network series?
I love this question because at first I thought my answer was going to be one thing, and now I'm like, no, I know what it is. I want a YouTube channel because I want more control. I feel like when you have a series, it's like more manufactured. It's like there's like a crew, there's like network expectations, like, and especially with like all that presence in a haunted location, I feel like you're going to be less likely to actually get an authentic like haunting from it. So I think I would want to do the YouTube channel because it's like less people. The ghosts I think are more likely to come out and play, and also just you have creative control of it. Which, so just like Chase, I want to be in charge.
Yes. I 1,000,000% agree. I love ghost hunting programs and I watch many ghost hunting YouTube channels. I've seen the controversy of ghost hunting programs being axed from the network TV series and all the conspiracies that are behind it and how they've moved to YouTube. And there's so much more creative control and like you own the intellectual property on the YouTube channel, whereas the network like to meddle.
Yeah, they like to meddle and they want to create their own narrative. And I think like Chase, like I'm like his whole thing about wanting to get a show, I understand why he wants it, but I'm like, but you have the power, man. You've got over 2 million followers. Like, you don't need the show.
No, he needs a Patreon. Why has he started? Has he got a Patreon?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he thinks about money as much as he's thinking about like he sees it as like I want to be a director, so I want to be in like film. It's sort of like film adjacent, I think it's more about like his bigger goals, but he's the director already. On a network show, you're not going to be the director. There's going to be a director.
Yeah, and like things are changing now. There's all these networks, but like you have to pay to stream them, and it's tough. So I feel like everyone can have access to YouTube, whereas not everyone can have access to a certain network depending on what streaming service you use.
I know. Yeah, if it's on Peacock, I'm not watching it. Like, I don't have Peacock.
Right? Yeah, he's like, I don't want to buy something else. So
the level on Peacock that you have to get to where there's not any ads is too much for me. I'm just like, no. It takes like it takes you like 3 tiers to get there. And I'm just like,
it's insane. And like, I've started watching something.
No negativity for NBC, but like,
right. I've started watching something on Amazon Prime, and it's like, okay, well, we're gonna show you this ad free after these ads, and you're like, what the fuck, man?
After the first ones, yeah, it's the ad has really gotten out of control on Amazon.
Yeah. I was watching a movie with my son the other day on Amazon. And it was Jurassic Park we were watching, and it got to the bit, just as you're about to see the brontosauruses or brachiosaurus for the first time, and then suddenly smash cut to an advert, and I was like, no!
How dare they? How dare they do that?
How dare they? Exactly.
Iconic moments in film history, and you're gonna put a toothbrush ad before it. It's like, no.
I mean, I get it. This like Discovery Plus, I have purely subscribed for the paranormal programs that are on there and the true crime stuff. That's it. That's the only reason I subscribe to it. And it used to be ad free, and now it is with ads. And I can pay more I pay less to have it with ads because I'm cheap and I've got a lot of sort of streaming services. But I know you've got to balance. Exactly. At least on YouTube, I fully expect the adverts to be there because I'm refused to upgrade. But yeah, and you can tell like a program that has been on the network, like has been on the travel program, it's usually that tends to be what they are, or Discovery, and then they've moved to YouTube. The difference is huge. And the quality as well, and like what they're doing in terms of quote unquote evidence It's massive, and it's just the creative freedom of YouTube is so much better. The only problem is you are restricted to the monetization of the way that YouTube works as well. But it's only if it's certain levels of swearing and blood and gore, where I wouldn't expect that on a paranormal program.
You're probably not gonna have blood and gore, and I mean, you may have swearing, but you can bleep it out, like, you know.
Yeah, you'll have some explanatives.
Like you said, you can do a Patreon. Like, I see, there's a lot of creators that I follow that have Patreons as well, and it's just like that's. Like, you know, there's just a way around it, Chase. Let's.
Yeah, you're smart, Chase. Figure it out.
You're a businessman.
Right.
I can understand Chase wanting to be like a producer or a director on a ghost hunting program with a network series whilst he's already doing the Ghost Gang. So,
Yeah.
you know, I can see that,
Like,
but not actually just having the Ghost Gang on the network. I think, you know, keep it on YouTube.
Keep it on YouTube, keep control.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay. Next question. Would you rather break the curse or solve the murder mystery?
This is easy for me because I'm a Scorpio. So I love a mystery. I am a detective by nature. So I would like to solve the mystery. I mean, no, not that I don't think breaking the curse is extremely important, because it obviously is, like, very, very important for you know, the Queen Mary and all the, you know, all those people who were dying because of the curse. But I want to solve the mystery. Like, growing up, I was always seeking a murder mystery to solve. Of course, I never found any. Never is Funnily enough, in my suburban town, didn't stumble upon any great fresh bodies or anything. But
not for want of trying.
I was trying, and you know, and I still haven't I live in Los Angeles, and I still haven't stumbled upon any great fresh bodies to investigate. But I have always wanted to solve the mystery, to, like, be the one, you know, to find. And I'm always like, even if it's not like a murder, I'm like, if there's something I want to figure out, I think that, like, I'll, like, go down, like, a trail, and I'll find clues about, like, I can, like, find connections on the internet for things. Like, I'm definitely, like, you know, that person who's like, let me try to figure out what's really going on here. Like, always. That I was probably a detective in another life, a private eye.
It sounds like you're one of those online detectives. There's a Netflix series, that 3-part series. I don't know if you have seen it, but it's really good. And it's Don't Fuck with Cats.
Oh God, Don't Fuck with Cats was so disturbing. I did watch it.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, Amanda, honestly, I was only going to watch the one episode. I watched all 3 off the bounce. It is brilliant.
Okay.
Because it's so freaking messed up.
So messed
It's
up.
just...
Like, I think, like, I wasn't expecting, like, they did a good job, because, like, animal death is, like, really hard for me.
I don't like that.
I can't handle. But they did a good job of how they cut and how they edited it and stuff. But despite the, I mean, like, but thinking about those people who actually watched those videos and did the investigations on the videos, like, I'm like, wow, you really are, like, you're the strongest soldiers. Like, that's
not all heroes wear capes. Some of them are behind keyboards. Honestly, that's what I kind of, every time somebody says, oh, I would be one of those online detectives, like you were just saying, that's exactly what I think of the Don't Fuck with Cats on Netflix. It's brilliant. It's only 3 hours of your life, but you will be absorbed. Yeah,
it's fully disturbing. Like, the storyline is really, really wild. But the way that they did it was so cool.
Oh yeah. We are full of spoilers, but I do not want to spoil this, because it is so good, so well done. It's a few years old now, so yeah.
I only, like, watched it, I feel like it was probably last year that I watched it. So I had heard a bunch about it, and I was like, no, and then I finally did, and then I was like, oh yeah, like you said, I was completely hooked. I was absorbed.
Okay. Yeah. I'm okay. I'm gonna have to watch it.
You're gonna have to. It's required now.
Your homework today is to watch TV.
It's fine. Done and done.
So are you breaking the curse, or are you solving a mystery then? The murder mystery, Amanda?
I don't know, because, like, in the book, I want, like, I'm struggling because I want to help Queen Anne, but I also want to keep her around. And I feel like if I break the curse, she's just going to go back to being a regular old ship gal. And then I'm not going to have her, possessing me anymore. So I feel like I have to solve the murder mystery just so I can keep Anne hanging around.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that at the end we don't like totally go into, like what happens to her. Like, she's quiet. That's sort of what we indicate. And my feeling is that like a piece of her soul still exists, I know nothing can, energy can't be created or destroyed. So
Right.
somehow she was like there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a piece of her soul still exists. She's just not killing anymore.
Okay, but see, that's my favorite part. So
Yeah, that's the fun part.
I am going to quote from the book, and this is why I'm going to solve the murder mystery and leave the Queen Anne to be the murderous ship that she is. I am trapped, alone, and empty. But I will watch them dance and eat and drink and make love and find thy joy. And I will wonder what it's like to be hungry for life. That is sad and so soul destroying. She's just an empty hull. And I'm like, I honestly, I read that bit and I was like, oh, couldn't she just be like happy? No, she's just an empty.
No,
Yeah.
she's an empty husk and she's dead inside. And that's me.
Her point for
And
living
it was just so sad. I was like, oh no, so I'm going to leave her to be a murderer, but I'm going to stick a sign on the door and say, if you come onto the Queen Anne, you have to sign this waiver because you may be murdered, and then on your head be it.
Yeah. Don't be a jerk on the Queen Anne. Like, you just don't be a jerk. Don't go. You had it coming, like.
Exactly.
I'm always like that person who's like, well, what'd they do to get killed? Like, they like, were you mean to the Queen Anne? Were you like abusing her? Because like that,
Yeah.
Women don't just murder.
No, there's always a reason.
There's always a reason.
Yeah, the chef was a jerk.
Yeah, I mean, the chef was such a jerk.
Yeah. Deserved to be baked.
The little girl murder was pretty bad.
There's always got to be one little child haunting somewhere, though. You've got creepy ghost children are creepy.
You just have to have ghost children. Like, honestly, it's just a giggle is nothing worse when there's no one there.
Right.
Someone's giggling.
And like, she was probably a brat.
Yeah.
Now she's not. Now she realizes the error of her ways, but I bet that kid was a little shit when she was alive.
Yeah.
I think she used to hide in places and she used to do that creepy thing that kids do, going, ring your roses, and then just follow people around constantly. Excuse me. So all you can hear is the ring your roses. You're like, oh my god, am I going crazy or is there a child? But no, the little shit was following you around for the entire voyage, going, ring your roses. No, so she probably doesn't.
I mean, maybe the Queen Anne was like, you are kind of like me, so you should stay here with me.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah,
maybe the teddy bear was the abusive one.
Yeah,
and it was the teddy bear was the true victim. It's just Mary got in the way.
Get her. She had to. Yeah, that was the only way to get the teddy bear.
Maybe.
Maybe we're just Queen Anne apologists in here.
We are.
We really are.
We really are.
Last question. Oh. Which ghost would you rather meet? And there was quite a few on the Queen Anne, wasn't there? There was Lady White, there was the militia, the chef, Mary, the captain of the Titanic.
So many.
Yeah.
Who would I rather meet? I mean, probably the captain of the Titanic. I feel like he has some explaining to do.
Dude, what the hell
happened? Like, what happened? So I think like he's the one we don't get much of his story either in the book. So I feel like we barely see him, we barely speak to him, and I'm like, and also he's like gone through a portal to get there. So like how, like that's interesting. Like where's the portal and how'd you get, like, can I go? Like I feel like he's got the most to say that we didn't say in the book, like that we didn't touch on. And And also, I just want to know, like, what can you just walk me through it again? Like, what happened that night?
He just turns around and goes, I really dropped the ball on that one, didn't I? Yeah, you think?
Whoopsie.
Wah, wah.
Men.
Oh. I think that I want to meet the lady in white, because I really appreciated that, like, in a lot of stories where you have lady in white ghosts, you know, they're like from the 50s. They're so, like, they're much older. But this girl, man, she's from the 80s. And I just want to see, like, her big hair and her big shoulders. You know, she's rocking some really great makeup. And I just want to hang out with her. I know that her life was shitty and that she died, but I want to meet her because she's 80s and not 50s, and that's, like, the lamest reason.
Was, like, kind of cool, you know.
Yeah.
And she was probably, and, like, she was trying to rebel in her life too. So I bet she was, like, actually, like, down to hang, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, she played Cyndi Lauper's "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" at top volume
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. She has a really awesome soundtrack.
Yeah.
It was so refreshing to have a ghost from the 1980s rather than, like, the 1880s, because it's always the Victorian, if not earlier, and the wafting around in their nightgown, which
we love a waft.
It's a dream. We love a waft.
Okay, but
it's nice to, you know, have them from the 80s. Like,
yeah, it was so fun because we wanted, you know, obviously there were logistical reasons for that. We wanted to have, you know, we wanted to solve the mystery, right? So we wanted to be able to solve it, and it wouldn't just be something that, oh, is way in the past and we're not really affecting anybody. And so having her be from the 80s was definitely a choice made so that we could have some closure on this case.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't just feel like, oh, okay, we solved the cold case, but, like, nobody is alive to care about it.
Well, that was the Mary storyline, wasn't it, really? Like, nobody's alive to really, quote-unquote, benefit from that being solved. But she reunited with her ghost mum at the end, which was nice.
Yes. Yeah, she did. She got an afterlife resolution, I guess you could say. Yeah. Which, when you've got a psychic who can tell you that is some kind of, like, solace, you know, because Chrissy can see that, like, this is happening. But yeah, we wanted one that was also, like, a real resolution in the real world.
Yeah. I like the drama of the lady in white ghosts as well. Like, I'd like to see it being played out. It reminds, I don't know if you've ever seen a movie, and I've talked about this with Amanda, called High Spirits.
I haven't, but I know the movie. I haven't seen it, but I know the movie.
And it's with Liam Neeson, I think it's, like, his first big major role, and he's an abusive Irish asshole in it, to be fair. He is horrible. But you have, like, the stereotypical ghosts in here, and as I'm reading through, same with Horror Hotel, I always think about that movie. I freaking love that movie. I need to find that movie somewhere. But it just reminds me of High Spirits, but obviously High Spirits is a dark comedy. But you have all those stereotypes, and you have, like, the lady in white, or you eventually get the lady in white, and it kind of reminds me of those, and I'd love to see that stereotypical lady in white ghost. Not the kid. I don't want the Ring of Roses, and I know that's not in the book. It's my canon that she sang that.
Like, it's my head canon.
Yeah, brilliant. But I don't want to. I know kids are creepy enough as it is. Never mind dead ones. So I want the lady in white as well.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to hang out with the kid ghost. Like, I mean, poor Kiki. She's, like, assigned to the kid ghost in this one.
Let's play hide and seek. Oh,
fuck.
Have you played the quiet game?
Yeah.
I would be introducing the ghost to the Switch. I'd be like, do you want to play some mobile games? Here's Candy Crush.
Here you go. Here's my phone. And they're like, it doesn't work. I can't interact with it.
Oh, no. Okay. So that's the end of our Would You Rather questions. We're going to move on to our interview questions, except it's not the end of our Would You Rather questions because we have one more.
Ooh.
Do you want to ask this question, Claire?
Yes, because I got obsessed when we were reading Horror Hotel over this. So it's the bonus Would You Rather that has been a long time in development.
Yes.
Horror Hotel and Cursed Cruise do seem to take their inspiration from real life places and reported haunts. So for me, Horror Hotel was obviously the Cecil Hotel in LA, with the Alyssa Lamb link, and then Cursed Cruise, Queen Anne was obviously Queen Mary. So where are you spending a night? Which one would you rather spend the night
Which
on?
one? If I was gonna stay either, oh, I would stay at the Queen Mary. The Cecil Hotel, I've been to both. I've never been inside the Cecil. You actually can go inside there now. I actually very recently went to the Cecil Hotel. Because I have some friends. I have these two other authors. It's so funny because I also write adult romance novels in my under my real name. And these two other authors are romance authors, but we all love ghosts and like haunted things and all this stuff. So we went on a downtown Los Angeles ghosty walk, haunted walk, and we went by the Cecil, and because you can see where Rick Ramirez, you can see like the alleyway behind where Rick Ramirez was like dumping his bloody clothes, and it's wild down there. But I've been there. You can go inside. I have never been inside. I don't want to go inside. That is a building that like just even from the outside when you look at it, you're like, this is not okay. This is not okay. Like you can feel it. Like, I mean, I am like very intuitive. The sort of the psychic Chrissy was drawn. I mean, I'm not as psychic as Chrissy, like can't read your mind, but I'm very intuitive, and so like I get very strong impressions about places when I go to them. And so the Cecil is a place that like the energy is just scary, and I don't want to be in there. The Queen Mary is very haunted, so I went there as well and did like a ghost tour. Victoria and I did this together years ago, and while it is extremely haunted for sure, absolutely full of ghosts, just like we are, we make the Queen Anne, it's more fun. It's more jaunty, it's
Less serial killers involved.
yeah. We're not dealing with somebody who's like sacrificing goats to Satan. Like that was happening at the Cecil Hotel. And like so I would definitely stay on the Queen Mary. I have not stayed there. Victoria has stayed there one time. But Victoria doesn't really see ghosts or any of that. She actually thinks she's kind of a ghost repellent.
I think I am too. I'm so glad somebody else has thought about that as well.
There are people who like literally they just like they'll go to the most haunted place and like nothing will happen around them. Lucky you. That is not my experience.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I would love to go to those places. I would absolutely, because I mean, the Cecil isn't just a single serial killer. It was like Jack Unterweger, who was a German serial killer. He went there as well and operated at about the same time. So it's the fact that there's two serial killers and then the Alyssa Lamb kind of mystery,
multiple, suicides, just really dark history with that, and it is really interesting to go be there, but it is very heavy.
I can imagine the vibes being
off-putting. In general is kind of just really heavy energy. It's a very haunted place. There's a lot of murders that have happened in downtown LA. There's a lot of haunted locations. So like I love going to downtown LA. It like makes me feel alive, but it's wild down there.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So I actually mentioned your psychic abilities just a smidge in our background info of the main episode. So I'm really glad that you are talking about it now, because like I want to know more. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, I mean, so I grew up, when I was little, I had a tragedy that happened to me really young, and I do think that was when it sort of started. there's a lot of times there's some kind of trauma that opens up that sort of connection with the other side. And so when I was a child, it was extremely potent. From like a very young age, I was like telling people about ghosts that I was seeing. Like really
That's full
wild.
sixth sense.
Full sixth sense. I lived in an old farmhouse in Texas. I grew up in Texas, and it was this old farmhouse that had been there for since the town was kind of built. It was actually the only like the town had grown up all around the acreage, and but like the acreage had stayed in kind of encapsulated. They'd sold some pieces off, but there was like 7 acres of land. Still, it was near the prison that was also in the town. And I was like, there, my one of my kind of most iconic stories about this was when we moved into this house. It was not long after actually the tragedy happened while we were living there. I was 4 years old. And I told my dad, I was like, there's a man sitting in my closet.
Oh, no, no.
And I was like, he's sitting, so my closet had the attic access to it. And I was like, there's a man that just sits there on the shelf. Like he just sits there on like the little like pull down. And my dad was like, no, he does. Like, you don't see, it's kind of the thing of like, there's no monster in the closet. Like, that was sort of the conversation that would happen. I was like, no, it's there. And but I was like, he seems fine. Like, it really didn't bother me that much. And my dad just like really dismissed it for like years. The whole time we lived in this house, he would dismiss it. Nobody did anything about it. It really didn't bother me that much. So it was, kind of accepting that, oh, she's just crazy. She's not okay. She's not been okay for a while. And then when we moved, he was like, okay, he finally like looked up the history of the house just for his own curiosity, because it was just never ending, this conversation about how there was a man in my closet. And he found out that somebody had actually died by suicide in that closet before we moved in. And that was who it was.
Yikes.
If
And
ever you have the opportunity of saying, I told you so, it's that.
I did. I was like, see? But the worst one was that in that same house, I was convinced, because we had a crawl space under the house. It was on pier and beam. The foundation was pier and beam. And I was 100% convinced that there was a skeleton under the house. And I had one of my friends, I was like, let's go find the skeleton under the house. And she was so scared. She refused to ever come back to my house because I had this whole story about this person who had been murdered and hidden under the house. And we don't know, no one ever went under that crawl space. So I don't know, because it was like full of spiders and all of, you don't want to go. It was Texas. Like, you don't want to go under that crawl space. You'll get killed by an actual like black widow or something, or a snake, a poisonous snake. So we never went under there, but I was sure that there was a skeleton under there, just and as if I could like see it, but I couldn't. I wasn't down there, like, so all of that in my childhood. And then as I got older, obviously those things change. You don't see it in the same way. Because like you're further away from, I see it as like you're further away from your innocence, and you're like, the further you get away from being born, the harder it is to sort of connect with the other, whatever it is that kind of creates that veil. And so I don't see like physical things quite as much but when I go, like when we went to the Queen Mary, for instance, I was seeing all kinds of stuff. I would see something, and then the guy would describe a story, and it would be what I had seen. So like it was, the Queen Mary like was wild, because I got on that ship and I was like, she's gonna show off. Like I could feel it. The ship like knew that I could like see her. And that's where the whole idea of like sliding through time came, because I had this feeling when I got on the ship of like, I'm like slipping. Like I feel like I'm not here totally. And the next day I had this massive nosebleed and I got sick for 2 weeks. And I'm pretty sure it was the amount of energy that was on that ship.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
It's just like crazy stuff like that. Like I don't actively seek about hauntings because it's like I have to be I literally I at all times I wear a black onyx bracelet because I am just like too susceptible to energy.
That's crazy.
Have you ever considered having a show on YouTube or a network TV series?
No, it's one of those things where like I also do tarot readings. So my adult romance novel that comes out this year is about a tarot reader. And so she's also, and there's like a psychic in that as well. The tarot reader is not a psychic, she's just slightly intuitive, but there is like a psychic character. And so I mean, I'm funny because I don't use this except in my writing, I guess I would say. Like I I don't know if I would want to be on YouTube doing it, like open myself up to that. Because I am very aware of just like the ramifications that can happen when you get haunted. And I'm just, always trying to not get haunted. I was such a haunted child. I was like, I was haunted enough in my youth.
Been there, done that, don't need any more, thank you very much.
I
So
mean,
does that mean you avoid going on ghost hunts and paranormal experiences and stuff, or do you still go for them, but you're just a bit more wary because you obviously you get the vibes and
it's funny because I am definitely more wary. But also anywhere I go, if it's haunted, I know. Like I know it's haunted. So I'm like the unfortunate person in the room who's like, that closet is haunted. Like somebody, like one of my favorite, and it's quite humorous, when my husband and I were looking for houses in LA. We were like, we're gonna buy our first home in LA, and we're going on like real estate tours of homes, and there are lots of old houses in Los Angeles. And I was like, no, this one's haunted. We're not buying this one. The one we ended up buying is not haunted. Because I was like, oh yeah, this is fine. This is excellent. It was built in the 50s, but not haunted. But my favorite real estate story from that was that we walked into a house, an open house, and I didn't know anything about the house except that our realtor had been like, oh, go check out this open house. So we go in, and the moment I get inside, I was like, I feel like I'm being watched. Like somebody is like looking over my shoulder. Every room I went into, I felt like that. And so I'm looking around like, what is happening? Not seeing anything, not seeing any cameras, not seeing, it's an empty house, there's no furniture, no stuffed animals, nothing that could be like watching me. And I was like, maybe it's a ghost. So then I'm talking to the realtor who's doing the open house, and she's like, she's being very shady about like the history of the house, like who owns the house. She won't tell me anything about who owns it. She's like, but what she did say was that the man who does own it, who is selling it, he was renting it out, and the upper level of the house, and the lower level he was living in it. He's not living there anymore. He's moved out, and now he's gonna sell it. So my husband and I go downstairs to the lower level, and we're just kind of walking around, looking around, and he walks over to this cabinet, and he's like, because you're just going to open the cabinet and look inside. And he opens the cabinet to look inside, and there is fully surveillance cameras that were surveilling the entire property. You couldn't see them, but they were surveilling the entire property. And that's why I feel like I'm being watched, because I could feel the energy of. And my husband closes the cabinet, and he's like, we got to get out of here. And I was like, can't go fast enough. Can't go fast enough.
No. I mean, there's having your ring a bell and a couple of security cameras on the outside. It's key points, but that is creepy.
He was for sure like surveilling his tenants. And I was just like, this is messed up. But like, yeah, so like I don't like seek it out. It just does kind of seek me out. And I like to go look at real estate just for fun, because I'm just like, I really like haunted places. So like I'm always like, let's go, whatever. And so we were at this one house, and we walked into the bathroom, and it was this beautiful, totally redone house built in the 50s. Like like not a house we could afford. We were just because we were like, let's go see this fancy open house. And I walk into the bathroom and there's two closets. And I turn to one of the closets, I open the door and I go, this closet. And I literally felt like chills rush through my body. And I was like, that's haunted. I was like, this very expensive house is very extremely haunted. And that just the closet, just that one closet. Don't know what.
That's wild.
Not so.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So I'm a really good person to take looking for a house so that because I can confirm if it is haunted.
Can confirm positive vibes. Can confirm bad closet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny because my friends will send me photos of real estate listings when they're looking, like if I can't go with them, and be like, just tell me, is it haunted? Because I can tell from photos.
Really?
So cool.
Yeah,
That is a talent.
Yeah,
and I
it's
usually
amazing.
have I can usually like get a vibe of like what happened. Even easier sometimes from a photo because I'll just like see it and then I'll like kind of see the story happening. And it was like this last time somebody did that, somebody had died in the bathroom like recently. And I was like, somebody died in there, but I don't think it was like a violent death. And I was like, I feel like it was like an elderly person like died, like fell. And they asked the owner, and the owner was like, yeah, my mom just passed away. And I was like, and I said, now the one thing I will say is I think that the ghost is still there because then she's confused. She had Alzheimer's.
Oh.
Oh.
I was like, I think that
Oh.
you help her, like, if you buy this house, like, she needs to know, like, what's going on. You're gonna have to tell her.
Yeah.
Like over and over again, probably.
Probably.
You would have to get somebody like to cleanse the space
Yeah,
spiritually properly and really help them along because that's really sad.
yeah, it was so
Oh.
sad. And I was like, yeah, that's that. Just from the photos, I was like, that's what happened.
So have you been like we're talking about Elliot, and obviously Elliot is an old city, but what about old city? So I'm going to kind of think. I was thinking about the Ghost Gang.
Mm-hmm.
The Ghost Gang now in Southampton. They're in my neck of the in my neck of the woods, on my side of the pond. Do they fly straight back home, or are they going to stay and enjoy the UK and see the creepy sides of the UK and all of the haunted places? Because I'm thinking if you can just walk into a house and find out that something's spooky, or walk past a place and feel the vibes, if you were to come to the UK and go to old cities like York and Edinburgh or walk the older streets, would it be too much for somebody with your talents? Or
I mean, I've been to the UK. I've been to London and Edinburgh. And I went to the Tower of London, um, which is haunted, but like not that haunted. Like, so I'm always like, the places that are the most haunted are the places that you're not looking for ghosts. Because the ghosts that are still at the haunted locations, they're used to people coming through there, tromping through their ground. They're not making a show necessarily unless the psychic comes through, and then they will definitely make a show because it's worth it. But I mean, I have stayed in almost every hotel I stayed in Edinburgh. We didn't stay in a hotel in Edinburgh. We stayed in an apartment, and it had a view of the castle, and it was fully haunted. There was one bathroom I wouldn't go into. So, I mean, it's fine though. Like, I think that like most of the time it's moving past you so fast that it's just you're not really engaging with it. Like,
yeah.
unless you actively engage with something, then it's like, wait, hold on, you paid attention.
Yeah, it's the Queen Anne. You fucked with something inside her innards, and she got mad.
He was like, "Oh, you're aware now, and so now I have to mess with you."
Yeah.
And it is like that's where that idea kind of comes from, is that like you are gonna be fine, but when you bring a psychic into a location like that, it's gonna know, and it's gonna be like, what are you doing here, and why are you trying? What are you trying? Are you trying something? Are you gonna like mess with me? Like, and it's either gonna be like I said with the Queen Mary, it's gonna be like showing off, or it's gonna be like mad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the psychic could mess the status quo. It's happy, everything's chill.
Yeah, and then you're poking it.
You're poking the bear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like whenever I there's a hotel in downtown Los Angeles called the Biltmore Hotel. It's where the last sighting of the Black Dahlia was before she was killed. And extremely haunted hotel. They used to have the Academy Awards there years ago. So you walk through the Biltmore. It's one of my favorite places to go, though. It is literally such a beautiful hotel and fully like you go upstairs and it gets more haunted as you the further up you go.
Ooh.
And but like it's the kind of thing where you're just sort of there and I'm not trying to engage with anything, they're just there. Like as long as you're not engaging with it, you're probably
Yeah.
fine. Just don't talk to it. That's why we're like, don't say anything to the ghosts.
Oh, it's
I've
amazing.
been to like ghost hunts. I've been at Edinburgh, and I mean Edinburgh's only an hour and a half away from me. But the creepiest place I've ever been is a community centre 5 minutes down the road. Like,
Mm.
I know it sounds ridiculous considering I've been down in the vaults, I've been castles, I've gone to haunt Chillingham Castle was nothing, and it's a freaking community centre 5 minutes down the road. Like I've been in that building by myself, and I'm like, I don't feel like I don't have any psychic abilities. I honestly believe that I'm one of those that pushes the ghosts away. If you've got people who draw them to you, I'm the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But this place is absolutely creepy AF. Like you can hear the stairs creaking, you can hear doors slamming, the lift will move by itself, and it's only like literally just a lift that goes to the next one floor up, and that was put in 15 years ago. I remember when it was happening because it was just the committee were just an absolute pain in the bum because we set up a games club there, and I would go in by myself to set the club up, to get out the tables, get everything in. But the attic space was one of the creepiest places when people would not go. But even worse than that, as always, was the toilets.
Oh,
To the point, I'm the only girl. And I would take who was then my now husband, then boyfriend. I'm like, I need to go pee. You have to come with me and stand outside the door. Or my best friend, Vince, at the time, I'll be like, he's the secretary of the committee at the community centre now. And he's opened the community centre up to ghost hunts. And I'm going on a ghost hunt in September for an inaugural one because I suggested it to a ghost hunt group. I am so freaking excited. And he's taken EVPs when we've been talking about it, and there's one of them we swear we can hear a whisper saying, "We're still alive." It used to be 100 years ago an orphanage, a boys' orphanage attached to a workhouse,
Oh,
and it's
No.
across the road from the big hospital in the city that I live in as
No.
well. So it's like, yeah, the chances are it's haunted, and
No.
you know, it's considering where I've been and what I've done ghost wise, because I lap it up, I eat
Yeah.
it all up. It's a freaking community centre. That's the creepiest place I've ever been.
Well, and it's probably because there's not a lot of advertisement around it yet. So like you go there and nobody knows that it's happening, and the ghosts are like, nobody's been paying attention to us for like 100 years. Like, can you please like notice me? I'm
Claire,
so
you're
here.
poking
I
them.
acknowledged
You're
it every single
poking
time.
them.
I would put my earphones in to ignore it, but it still felt like on your back that something was there. Or I would I would have a stereo on, I would turn the volume up, and I would go, bugger off.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Yeah, you're like, get away. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so interesting because I think that like places where like I see kind of the ghosts, the haunting, the like big haunting energy is places where big trauma happens. And then link between like trauma and what can stick around behind that energy that sticks back there. It's like that's why like violent deaths result often in like hauntings because it's the trauma of the event like does something to the energy of the place. I have this whole thing about like how buildings they're made of living material and so they absorb energy, living energy. And so I'm like that's I think why haunted places are like have these things that stay forever and ever and ever because the building itself has absorbed the energy of the incident that happened and the person's
It's like the stone
like
tape theory.
last moments, here. It's residual energy that's there.
Amanda, what the haunting that you had? Where in? Oh, what was it? Springs.
Eureka Springs.
Eureka Springs. You had that weird incident.
I did have a very weird experience there, and there's a very, very haunted hotel there as well. A couple of them. Have you been to Arkansas? Do you want to come?
No, I haven't been to Arkansas, but I feel like I've heard of Eureka Springs.
Yeah, it's
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's a pretty spooky place. There's lots of scary things, but there's a hotel there called the Crescent Hotel that was a hospital, and horrible things happened, and not real doctors doing experiments on people. And just a few years ago, I think they were doing like renovations on the grounds and found a whole bunch of jars with parts in. So that's fun. Yeah.
Did you put the parts there?
Did
you do it? You have to
I
tell,
did
you have
not.
to admit if you did.
I did not. I promise I didn't. But it's really, it's a fun place to explore. But we were staying in a bed and breakfast, and we've talked about this, I feel like, in a million episodes, but I felt like I was being pulled through the bed, and I didn't want to reach under the bed to get the extension cord to plug my phone in. And I was like, I told my husband, I'm just gonna put it over here, and I'm not gonna worry about it. But then when I went to sleep, there was a motion light in the bathroom that kept clicking on, even though we were in bed not doing anything. And then I felt like I was being pulled through the bed. And I think that I made the ghost mad because I didn't want to go under there.
Yeah, the ghost is like, come
on, I'm down here.
Play with us.
Yes. But I have a friend who works with me at my library, and she is, sorry, my tummy is growling. She's very intuitive as well, and we worked at one library together, and now we're at a brand new place. But the one library that we worked at is a little bit older, and she was like, oh yeah, there's someone right there. Like, oh, okay, great. And there was one time I was pushing,
I'm going to go the opposite direction.
Like, I was pushing my book cart before the library was open, like gathering holds or whatever. And I swear if there was a camera right there, you would see me dodging someone, even though we weren't open yet. And my friend Lydia was like, oh yeah, she was right there. That's where she likes to hang out. She likes to hang out in the nonfiction section. I was like, damn it. She got me.
She's like, I'm a researching ghost. I like to do research.
Right. She's like the ghost from, Ghostbusters. And she does not want to be bothered right now. How fun. This is not what I was expecting of this episode. And it's like, I never want it to end. This is so good. It's so fun.
I'm loving it. It's
right?
amazing.
It's so good.
I like
talking spooks.
Right? So I feel like I might have lied to you. I said, oh, this is going to take about an hour. And well, we're getting to about an hour, but like we have a couple more questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, we can definitely go a little longer. Sure.
Okay.
I know we got very sidetracked with the psychic.
It's so good though. It's worth it. But like, the Ghost Gang are still like continuing, right? So like, where are they going to go next?
So the Ghost Gang, I imagine, are definitely living their best haunted life. The series is not going forward just because we're both like very busy with our own solo work. But I imagine that the Ghost Gang stayed in Southampton for a minute, probably went to London. To wrestle up some trouble, probably flew back to the Estates and is shooting a pilot for their network show that Chase is determined for them to have. So yeah, I mean, they're still besties, and even though they all, because they have to start college in the fall, so right. It's like they're kind of all going their separate ways, but they're gonna always be in each other's lives. So that's kind of the way I imagine the Ghost Gang's future.
Do you think
I have visions of them starting college, and one of the colleges, something weird's happening, and they're like, Ghost Gang, assemble, and then they have to go and solve the mystery spookenings that are happening at the college, because you've not been stereotypical using they've gone to a sanitarium this time, or a hospital, hotel. I mean, hotel is very traditional in terms of ghosts, but it's not a stereotype.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
I
I
like
feel
that.
like also like whereas Kiki is going to Berkeley, is that right? And then Emma's going to Stanford. Stanford is definitely haunted. So there there's definitely some ghosts at Stanford. There's ghosts at USC. There's like a lot of stories about USC hauntings. I talked to a man who used to work security at USC, who told me about there's this one theater on campus that is known to have like a haunting from a nun haunting.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And I was like, well, so maybe Chase goes to USC and we get up to some trouble at the at the theater, the haunted theater.
I just kind of want them to all come back together, but like years and years from now, they're all adults and stuff, and they all come back together for like one last
Like an It Too
hurrah.
vibes.
Yes, yes, definitely. But please, no things that get them out of places when they're children. Cut that part out.
Yeah. No, we're not doing it. Like I think it would be cool to see where they are in like 10 years and what they're doing, how I always love like when characters who experience like intense traumatic experiences in their youth, like seeing how that like shapes their 20s, and then they have to come back to solve something together. Like I always love that kind of story. And they would totally. I mean, like hopefully Chase and Chrissy and Kiki and Emma all are, in love forever. But maybe they break up and then have to get back together in their late 20s. I could totally see Chrissy and Chase breaking up and then getting back together in that story.
Yeah,
I have visions of them going to Penhurst at the paranormal convention that they host there. Like, Ghost Gang reunited for the first time in 10 years at the Penhurst convention. And then it's like, oh, star-crossed, and like, oh, how you doing? And it's like all a bit, and then, the Penhurst ghosts come out and they're like, oh, shit.
Oh my God, I literally love the idea of them like all, like maybe like Kiki and Emma got married and then like are getting there, but they're on the rocks or something, and they like have, so like you've got like marriage tension and you've got like Chase and Chrissy who haven't spoken in 5 years or something, like, and we don't know why.
Yeah, we need this story. That's your next story after whatever it was that we talked about at first. I don't even remember what it was, but
college.
You've got so many stories that you can gather.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously I write young adult horror as well under my real name. So I have a young adult horror book that comes out in 2026 from Delacorte called Lost Girls.
That's so exciting.
Which it's like Yellow Jackets meets I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I Know What You Did Last Summer is one of my favorites.
Me too.
Oh, it's so great.
That sounds so cool.
I know, I need it. God, you have an arc that you can just
It's not, I'm writing it right now. I'm literally actively on a writing retreat writing that book.
Right, well, we need to wrap this up so we can get that into our hands.
Yeah, really. Oh my gosh.
Like, okay, let her go.
Yeah, get out of here.
Oh my God, you didn't tell us you were busy doing that.
Yeah, I'm like in it right now, killing people.
It's amazing.
In the book. In the book.
Yeah, fictional murder. It's fictional murder.
Yes.
I feel like we have to say that every other episode.
I know.
No, but I'm like, please do. I'm on every watch list for my search right now.
Well, if we've got that to look forward to in the future, is there anything else that you have got coming out? Anything else that you want to shout about? Tell us what you're excited about.
Like I said, I write young adult horror that comes out in 2026. I also write adult romance. I write sapphic queer characters. I'm bi, and so my characters are bi. So the book that I have coming out this year is called The Lovers, which is a sapphic romance about a tarot reader and a wedding planner who had a soulmate prediction when they were in their teens. And they had a falling out. They haven't seen each other in 10 years, and they reconnect while they're both working a wedding in Joshua Tree National Park. And really fun. So it
sounds
has a
really
little
cute.
mysticism, and there's a psychic. It's still like, it's just not, nobody's getting murdered in that
Mm.
book.
No, but it sounds really cute.
It does
And
sound really,
I
really
love a
cute.
sapphic romance.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely like keep an eye out for that. Like, I mean, it's there are arcs of that. It is on NetGalley.
Okay.
Whoa.
And that is where
Excuse
we're
me, right,
going.
Nick Alley.
Right. That is where we're going right now. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. What an amazing conversation this was. Like, I wish it could keep going, but you're busy. You got to get.
Murdering fictionally
Yes.
people.
Fictionally
Yes.
murdering people.
Yes, definitely. But thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you, and you'll have
We're
to
going to
come
harass
back.
you to come on for a
Yeah.
new and indie spotlight for when your fictional murder comes out.
Yes,
Yes,
Once it's written.
definitely.
You have to come
Absolutely.
back. We're going to insist that you do.
Mm-hmm.
I will insist that I come back as well.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
Booking you
Yep.
in.
Yep. You're part of the Fictional Hangover family now, whether you like it or not, which is what we tend to say to people. Deal with it.
Get rid of us.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
So that's it for this bonus episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss The Stranded by Sarah Daniels. Look out for our Would You Rather polls and monthly challenges on social media. Don't forget about our book club on Discord. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover themed merchandise, and become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com. Follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok and YouTube at Fictional Hangover. And find us on Facebook at facebook.com/fictionalhangover. If you like this episode, check out our others and be sure to rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. And finally, special thanks to Liz Emerson for our music. You can find her on Facebook and Patreon. Thanks for listening.